Alrighty, wanted to show everybody a real-world test of my BougeRV cooler I just picked up right before my trip to Lake Tahoe. I know sometimes people don't believe the advertising, and sometimes the advertising's far off, so I wanted to check it. I did buy the 220 watt-hour battery pack that fits in the cubby there on the right. Pretty smooth. Nice little cubby hole for it. So anyways, this is a real-world test that I did in Lake Tahoe about a month ago. So that's the little battery pack, 220 watt hours. Picked it up on Amazon for about 150 bucks when I bought the cooler. Claims it can run the cooler for 6 hours. We'll find out. All right, left the cabin in Lake Tahoe a little after 10. It was 78 degrees. 1 hour into it, I set the cooler at 33 degrees and it kept pretty much within 2 degrees of that temperature. So here you can see at 35 degrees. In max mode, I decided kind of worst case scenario, I want to keep it in max mode to see how well it works. So 81 degrees outside, battery only dropped a few percent after the first hour. This cooler is packed full of our drinks, sandwiches, and a couple of ice packs, just those reusable ice packs. But we use this all day, as you'll see. Hour 2, 33 degrees, the cooler's doing great, down to 85% battery, outside temperature 84. This is the only time I saw it go above 35 degrees. Usually it's set to 33 and I would see it go up to 34 or 35, but one time went to 36. Still not bad. 85 degrees outside, 73% on the battery. Once again, it's at that within a couple degrees, 35 degrees, battery down to 54% on hour 4, 85 degrees outside. 34 degrees is the cooler. This is hour 5, 34% on the battery, 85 degrees outside. Hour 6, it claims it could run this thing for 6 hours, and guess what? This is 6 hours into it. 34 degrees, the cooler's doing good. 87 degrees outside, temperature's going up a little bit. Battery is at 13%, so it did what it said it could do on that battery pack in my situation. It lasted 6 hours, even in mid to upper 80 degrees, so I'm pretty happy. Yes, I was in the shade, though, the whole time. I don't think you should have your cooler out in the sun. That drastically reduces its ability to stay cool. So, yes, this was in the shade, but those temperatures are accurate. At hour 6, I decided to plug it in because I didn't want to go down to 0%. So I wanted to see if I could do pass-through charging. In other words, I moved the cooler from plugging into the battery pack into this external battery thing that I built in the top right. So the cooler is now running off of this thing on the top right. And then I plugged in the charger to charge the battery pack to see if you can charge the battery pack while still using the cooler. So 85 degrees out, cooler set at that 33, so it's still holding in there within a couple degrees. And yes, I'm plugging in the battery pack to this little power pack, and as you can see, the power went up to 17% from 13% because it's charging at 70 watts. So the cooler's still running off this battery pack. So you see that 45 watt output. However, I got that extra battery pack plugged into this thing, so it's charging it. So there you go. I wanted to show this. I did move it into the car because we were getting ready to leave, but I wanted to show you when you're traveling, you need to make sure those vents that I circled down in the lower right are exposed. I see a lot of people taking their 12-volt coolers, packing them into a truck or an SUV and packing stuff around it. You cannot do that. You got to leave those vents exposed. It's taking the heat from inside the cooler and it's getting rid of it through those vents. If you block those vents, your coolers are going to have problems. They could get damaged, the compressors get damaged, or they just won't function. So make sure those are open. Once again, this is a short while later. Battery is now up to 25%, charging at approximately 70 watts from that other battery pack, and the cooler is running at 30 watts at this time. So there's just to kind of sum up everything that I did. And I did pre-chill this cooler like it says, but I did another video you can see on how long it takes to pre-cool a cooler. So if you want to check that video out, I have that, but here's all the stats on that. So really happy with it, and it functions as designed. Both the cooler and the battery pack worked out great. Thank you. Goodbye.